We can't have fall without a granny square. Kristen here with Enchanted Yarnworks. Welcome. I'm so glad you made it. Here we are again, another fall or autumn, whichever you prefer to call it, themed adventure in crochet today. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this gorgeous little granny square with pumpkins on it, perfect for the season that we are in. So hang out with me today. Make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell is dinged. And please hit that like button. So without further ado, let's get on it and get this adorable granny square made. Happy fall. All right, let's get started on this adorable fall-inspired granny square. So what we need today are 4 colors. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK. I have mine caked and held in with my nylon thread saver. So we need color Claret, Dandelion, Spice, and Gingerbread. So those are the 4 colors we need. Also, we need a 4mm crochet hook. And then we need a yarn needle. So let me kind of talk about a little bit. So this is just a crochet hook that I bought off of Amazon. I will link it down below in the description. They come in a set of 3. I absolutely love them. You know, they're cost effective. So if you're kind of getting into the crochet world and you're overwhelmed with all of these expensive crochet hooks, don't fret. You do not need to spend all that money on a crochet hook right now. Especially if you are just starting out and you're not sure if you're going to be in this journey for a while, there's no reason to go overboard on expensive hooks. And then I have this cute little tin that I love. It comes with 18 yarn needles in different sizes. I think it's fantastic. I will link that down below as well. And the thread saver is just this long 40-yard tube of nylon netting that I found on Amazon. And I think it is absolutely fantastic because once I cake my yarns, they're all contained and in here. And as I use them, they get smaller and then they don't like make a mess everywhere and get loose and loosey-goosey and just make me crazy. So I love that. I do that with all of my Stylecraft yarns, which I get at lovecrafts.com, which I love Lovecrafts. I mean, I have ordered from them on a Sunday and received my yarn here they're from Great Britain, and received my yarn here in the United States on a Thursday. And that was like last month. So I absolutely love them. I have a link down below for them as well. And a little bit of a disclaimer, everything that I'm linking down below, I am an associate or an affiliate for, so I may receive a commission on qualifying purchases. So I need to get that out of the way. If you decide to take that route, thank you in advance. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put this over here. Oh, and we do need a pair of scissors. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I'm just using this one that I have received in a kit that I've had for, gosh, ever. It works fine. I'm happy. It doesn't have to be anything special, just like the hook. It doesn't have to be anything special. So we are starting out with our spice color. I'll move these back here just a little bit. And basic granny square. We're just doing 1 row with this. So let me kind of get this angle a little bit better for you. And maybe zoom in a little so you can see me better. Okay, I hope that's better. Alrighty, so we're starting with a slip knot. No, we're not. I'm sorry. We are doing a magic ring. Forget what I was just working on a different project, which was starting with a slip knot and a chain. So forgive me. All right, so if you have not done a magic ring before, now you can do the chain and slip stitch to the first chain, make this ring that way, and then it's less likely to come apart if you want to do that, or you can do the magic ring. So I'm going to show you the magic ring today. So what you're going to do is you start with your end, your small end facing you, and then you just wrap your working end around your fingers to make that little X. Put your hook underneath, grab this guy, pull it through, and then we're going to yarn over and then pull through, and that gets that solid. Okay, so our granny stitches are all double crochet, so we need to chain 3, and then our first one is our first granny cluster is just going to be 2 double crochets because that chain is going to count as a double crochet. All right, and then we're going to chain 2 because that's a corner, yarn over, and do 3 double crochets again. There's 3, and then chain 2. You notice I'm kind of holding the loop here with my 2 fingers to keep it open and to keep it from keep it stabilized. All right, so whoops, as I lose everything. Go back here. Here's 1, 2, and then 3. So we need to make 4 sides and 4 corners, and that is 3. And then we chain 2, which is our corner stitch, and then our last granny square cluster of 3 double crochets. Okay, and then a chain 2, and then we're going to connect over here to our beginning chain. So I'm going to come from the back side here. You can slip stitch however you like. I'm going to come from the back side and go in these 2 loops and grab this loop. Of course, it wants to be difficult. And then pull through there. And now I'm going to chain through there to kind of, because we're going to tie that off and unpull that tight. So scissors, because we are going to change colors now. So I'm going to pull this out just like that. And here's our first 4 square clusters. So before I get ahead of myself, I actually am going to weave these ends in so that I am not dealing with them as we continue throughout here. So taking my yarn needle. Yes, this seems weird. I am absolutely placing the needle where I want it to go before I thread it. For me, it just kind of makes sense and helps me get through that without having to worry about if the yarn is coming out of the eye of the needle. That's my own little personal hack. You know, you have to do what makes the task easier for you, and that makes the task easier. Now, obviously, since I already have it, it's going to stay in there. I'm not taking it out. Okay. And there it came out. All right, I'm going to go back the other way. Okay. Now with this, I'm just going to weave down my double crochet stitches to the middle. Come back up this one. Make sure I don't pull too tight. I don't want to change the shape of that stitch. And then we're going to go back down and come over here. Okay. there it is, the center. So our next color is Dandelion, which is the yellow color, and we're going to start in the corner. So you can start however you like. I just kind of didn't finish a slip knot because I'm going to slip knot right there, like that. Okay. Pull that a little tighter, and I'm chaining 3. I'm going to kind of do these first 3 double crochets over my tail there, but it will get weaved in. So remember, we did the chain, which counts as a double crochet, and then we're doing 2 more. So then now we're in a corner, so we have to do 2 chains, and then now we're doing another granny cluster of 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. Okay, now we're going to come over here, but we're just going to chain 1 here and then work the same 2 clusters in the corner. Okay. So, who out there is like me and this is their favorite time of year? I absolutely love fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it. Remember, we have a chain 1 at the end of that. Next corner. For me, it's just, it probably doesn't help that my birthday is in the fall. I mean, that might be why. I won't lie. But I love the color changes. I love the temperature changes. The mood just changes, and it's just calming and peaceful. I mean, it sets you into hibernation months, which is where we get to reset and just, relax as long as we allow ourselves to do that. So I love this time of year. And I thought it fitting because, man, you guys, my wonderful viewers, have just gone crazy about my granny square videos that I did back in August. So I thought, let's do a fall themed granny square. Okay, so here's our last corner. We need to chain 1, and then we're going to connect over here. I'm going to do it the same way as I did the last. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pause this while I weave these in. I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't want to spend the next 5 minutes watching me do that again. So I will be right back. There we are. Okay, so back to talking about Granny Square Week. I am humbled and so amazed and blessed by all of you beautiful, wonderful viewers. Never did I ever think that week would have been so popular, but you proved me wrong. And I'm okay with that. Absolutely. So, all right, our next color is Gingerbread. We're going to do the same thing, connecting in the corner like we did with our Dandelion color. I mean, granny squares, I can see why they're popular. Traditional granny squares are absolutely just so easy to do and so quick to work up. And I could probably do this faster if I wasn't yapping, but I'm here to talk to you, and I'm okay with that. So there we are, chain 3. I'm going to move this over. Okay, so then just remember 2 double crochets in that starting cluster. Ooh. And then our chain 2 because it's a corner. And then 3. And granny cluster squares, excuse me. Goodness. are so versatile. I mean, this pattern is the same pattern over and over and over, and you just change your colors up, and it makes it so different. Yeah, and I can see why they're so popular. Okay, so we did our corner, and now we have, because we're growing, we have this one in the middle. So we're just going to do a single granny cluster here after we've chained one. And then chain one again, and then same corner story. Granny cluster, chain two, granny cluster. And then we do that all the way around. Okay, finishing off here, slip stitching. Okie dokie. Same story. I'm going to tie these in, weave these in, and I will be right back. Next up is, we are going to repeat with Spice, our orange color. Okay, remember, chaining 3. Two doubles. Chain 2, because we're in a corner. And 3 double crochets. Okay, and then chain 1, granny cluster here. Chain 1, another granny cluster. Oh, I guess I'm stuck a little bit. There we go. And now we're in a corner after our chain 1. So we have our 2 clusters with a chain 2 space in between. And then we get to do this all the way around. Okay, so slip stitching again, finish off. Okay, pausing again to weave those in. Gorgeous. Alrighty, our last color now is Claret. So I decided to throw in this little bit of a red burgundy color because, I mean, meanwhile, you've got all the oranges and the browns and the yellows going on. You also will then also have some trees that are doing this burgundy tone. And a green would probably be good here too. I just thought that we would do a burgundy with this. Like I said, granny squares are fully your imagination. You could do multiple rows with the same color. You could change the colors, the order of the colors. I mean, anything like that. So, okay, same. This is our last row, and then we get to make little pumpkins. Little pumpkins. Oops. Okay, so you're basically doing the same thing you've been doing the whole time. Just remember you only have one chain between your side granny clusters, and you always have two chains between your two corner ones. And that's really the gist of the traditional granny square. You could also do kind of muted fall colors, not so bright like these are. That would be pretty. You know, whenever I see the pumpkins at the stores, because I haven't gone to a pumpkin patch lately, and they have those little squat, smushed one looking ones that are that slight light green color, I'm in love. I absolutely love those green ones. So, I mean, I might actually make a square with that green color and the other pumpkin colors. May do an homage to pumpkins. So, absolutely. Alrighty, last double crochet, and then our chain one, and we're going to connect. Okay, now there we are. Ready. I'm going to weave these in. Alrighty, all blocked. I mean, not blocked, woven, weaved in, woven in. Anywho, so what I'm going to do right now while we make the pumpkins is I'm going to set this up to block so that it is completely ready and we'll be finished by the time, because what I'm going to do is steam it, and this is acrylic, so it really doesn't take much, and these will be nice and blocked and ready when I am done with the pumpkins. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to block with. Gonna zoom out a bit. What I'm using here is just one of my Knit IQ squares blocking mat. This set specifically comes with 9, and they make a 3x3 grid, which has a big circle in the middle, so that when you're doing circular projects, you can easily line those up. Perfect for your mandalas and things like that. It also has 1-inch block squares to help you with sizing. And they do come also in centimeters if you are using metric. And they also, set does also come with your T-pins. I'm gonna come back down here a little bit and go back to a normal zoom. Okay, so this block is looking like 1, 2, 3. It's 5 inches. Okay. All the ones I did during Granny Square Week were 4 inches, and that's because we only did 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. We did 5 rows for this, so it's going to be a little bit larger. So all I'm doing is pinning in our corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what I'm going to do is just use steam iron over this gently. I'm not going to touch it on there because it'll melt it. We don't want that. Actually, do 2 on the sides here. Give it a little more stability, and then I know it's not going to stretch funny. Okay, now what I do is that I'm just going to lift this up off of the mat so that air can flow underneath there and it doesn't get soaking wet or anything down here, and then it stays wet forever. I do that when I'm also blocking cotton and natural fibers so that the airflow can go underneath and it can dry out faster. I don't know if you can kind of see like that. Okay, so I'm going to go steam this real quick. I'll be right back. And then we will do these pumpkins, and this is going to hang out while we do those pumpkins. It is steamed. I don't know if you can see kind of a difference, that it seems a little bit more relaxed. It kind of falls down, but it's going to sit over here and dry. I don't spend a lot of time steaming that. This particular yarn is perfectly fine to do like a quick hover over a couple of times. And I noticed that it's ready when it starts to relax, when it starts to sink down back to the blocking mat. So it doesn't take long. And I will link that down below in the description box as well for you in case you're really interested in those. I absolutely love them. Absolutely do. All right, pumpkin time. We're using our spice color and our gingerbread again. And these guys are tiny and cute. We're going to make 4 total to put in the corners, but you can make as many as you like. Okay. You can make 1, you could make 5, you could make 2. I mean, it's entirely up to you. Okay, what are we doing here? There we go. All right. Should be enough. All right, magic ring again. Okay, should I zoom in a little? Get this camera angle back to where it was. And we are doing 8 single crochets in magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. We are slip stitching to the beginning single crochet. And then we are chaining 1. I just tightened that back there. Okay, so chain 1. And we're skipping the same stitch that we slip stitched into. Okay, so slip stitch in the next. These are super fast. And then single crochet and half double crochet in the next one. And 2 half double crochets next. And now we're mirroring the top, so a half double and then a single. And then next is a slip stitch. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're mirroring. So now we have single crochet and half double together. Two half doubles next. Half double single crochet. There we go. All right, so then now we're going to change this little pumpkin-y, yeah? We're going to change to our gingerbread, our brown color, to finish this stitch off. And I like to leave that loop because I'll show you. I'm going to just take my hook and go into the fronts of these 2 loops like so. This stays in the back. And then I add in, what I'm going to do is finish this stitch with the brown color. I'm going to leave that there for just a moment, okay? And then I am slip stitching right here to the beginning stitch, beginning slip stitch that we did. Okay, buddy. Guess I did that one really tight. All right. Okay, so now I'll pull this one, and there's the base of our stem. So now we are chaining 3, and we're going to slip stitch in the second loop from the hook for 2. Oops. Okay, and then come back over here, and we're going to slip stitch right back in that again, in that same stitch where we started. Okay, so then there's a loop, and I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to come back down in that same slip stitch, and I'm going to pull this loop to the back. Like so. And then chain and tie it off. Okay, there's our cute little pumpkin. What do you think? Okay, so I'm gonna make 4 more of those. I'm going to actually take some long ends here. I'm going to tie a knot with these brown 2 here, and then I'm going to kind of weave them in a little bit. And I'm going to use these orange ones to weave into, oh, wow, I am so sorry. That was way out of camera. I just tied a knot in these 2. Then I'm going to leave these here, and I'm going to use them to weave in to the square once I get all 4 of these completed. All right, so I'm going to pause the video and come back, goodness, when I have 4 of these done and ready to go. All right. They're super cute and ready to be added to our square, which is here. So let me just undo. Okay. So the plan is to sew a pumpkin on each corner, like so, just like this. So it kind of looks like we made pumpkins in the corners on the orange row. So there's my plan. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. We're going to start with one of these. And I have my needle. And yes, I'm going to thread it first this time. I'm going to place it on here. I'm actually going to take this one through like that. There we go. Line that up where I want it. I'm not going to stitch down the stem because I think it's cute like that. So I'm just going to go up through the back, kind of stitch along our loops there. Trying to keep my hands out of the view so they're not blocking and you can see what I'm actually doing. Okay, this one is getting a little short, so I'm going to send it to the back through like so. And I will handle that when I finish. And I'm going to pick up this one and go ahead and finish the rest of the way around. Let's see where we're left off. Okay, so I'm going to go this way because that's where my yarn is on this side. Thinking I should have probably left longer tails, but I think I'll be okay. One little bit. Get this back over here. Well, I'm just weaving it back and forth back here, and then I will connect it over here next to the other one and tie it off. Yes, I definitely think I should have left longer tails. So for you, make sure you leave longer tails. Okay. Okay, I will squeeze those under there momentarily, but there is our first pumpkin. Super cute. All right, let me go ahead and do the rest and finish it off, and I will be right back. Here we are. Look how adorable that is. I'm super proud of this one. I love it. What do you think? What do you guys think? So here's the back. In case you're curious, make sure I weaved all my ends in. I sure did. I sure did. Here it is. It's about a 5" by 5" square. So you could make more in however you see fit there. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to clean things up and I'll be right back in just a moment. Alrighty, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I am absolutely in love with this idea with putting the little pumpkins on the corners. It just kind of tied the whole thing in together with the theme of the season. So I want to say some things that you can do with the granny squares, like I was saying during the video, is they're so um, personal, personalizable, and you can make them as big or as small as you like. I mean, you could take that center four and you could make the whole thing orange in the middle and then just add the other colors onto that. And then you would get like a big square. I mean, and you could change up colors. You could use whatever colors you wanted. I think that's the fun part of the granny square themes and why everyone loves them so much. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please make sure you are subscribed with that notification bell dinged so that you can get all of my notifications of my future videos when they come out. If you have not seen any of my other Granny Square videos from Granny Square Week, please be sure to go into that playlist linked down below in the description box and check those out. You will not be disappointed. So again, I want to say thank you for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.